Today I am reading a chapter in a book for chefs, and right out of the gate, the chapter disclaims some things. So it says, this chapter is not meant to be a complete discussion about food safety and sanitation in food service operations. Its primary goal is to alert you to practices that can result in food-borne illnesses. Federal, state, county, and municipal health, building, and other codes are designed in part to ensure that food is handled in a safe manner and that the workplace itself is also safe. Chefs should consult their local health department for information and guidance and always be conscious of what they can do to create and maintain a safe product as well as a safe environment for their customers, their fellow employees, and themselves. So, that being said, right, this video is also for information purposes only. So, I'm reading this book, I'm not an expert. So, let's start. Sanitation. Sanitation refers to the creation and maintenance of conditions that will prevent any contamination that might lead to a food-borne illness. It involves removing or reducing harmful substances to a level that is deemed safe by government health agencies. Proper sanitation requires following time and temperature standards, avoiding cross-contamination, and consistently following established safe food handling protocols. Failure to do so can lead to a variety of injuries or illnesses. Even as few as 2 or 3 sick customers can be enough to cause major monetary loss, negative media attention, lawsuits, and irreparable damage to a business's reputation. Local government health inspectors are responsible for issuing licenses and conducting periodic inspections to ensure that regulations are being followed. It is your responsibility as a cook or food server to make sure that sanitation techniques are being followed properly to avoid contamination on behalf of every customer every day. Okay, so that was sanitation. Sanitation is the creation and maintenance of conditions that will prevent any contamination that might lead to a foodborne illness. So, what is contamination? Contamination refers to the presence, generally unintended, of harmful organisms or substances called contaminants. Contaminants can be biological, chemical, or physical. When consumed in sufficient quantities, food-borne contaminants can cause illness or injury, long-lasting disease, or even death. Contamination occurs in 2 ways: direct contamination and cross-contamination. Direct contamination is the contamination of raw foods or the plants or animals from which they came in their natural settings or habitats. Chemical and biological contaminants such as pesticides, bacteria, and fungi are present in the air, soil, and water. This means that foods can be easily contaminated by their general exposure to the environment. For example, grains can be contaminated by soil fumigants in the field, or shellfish can be contaminated by ingesting toxic marine algae. Chemicals and microorganisms generally cannot move on their own, however. Contaminants need to be transported, a process known as cross-contamination. The major cause of cross-contamination is people. Food handlers can transfer biological, chemical, and physical contaminants to food while processing, preparing, cooking, or serving. Sanitation is the correction of problems caused by direct contamination and the prevention of problems caused by cross contamination during processing and service. So, direct biological contaminants. Several microorganisms, particularly bacteria, parasites, viruses, and fungi, are biological hazards, contaminants that can cause biologically based food-borne illnesses. By understanding how these organisms live and reproduce, you can better understand how to protect food from them. Bacteria. Bacteria, which are single-celled microorganisms, are the leading cause of food-borne illnesses. Okay, so there are different shapes of bacteria: rods, cocci, spirillea. Rods are short tubular structures. Cocci are discs, some of which form clusters, and spirillea are corkscrews. Okay, so different shapes. Some bacteria are beneficial, such as those that aid in digesting food or decomposing garbage. Certain beneficial bacteria are used to make cheese, yogurt, and sauerkraut. Other bacteria spoil food without rendering it unfit for human consumption. These bacteria, called putrefactives, are not a sanitation concern. Indeed, in some cultures, they are not even a culinary concern. Cultures differ on what constitutes quote unquote bad meat, for example. In some cultures, for instance, game is sometimes hung for a time to allow bacteria to grow. The bacteria that are dangerous when consumed by humans are pathogens. These bacteria must be destroyed or controlled in a food service operation. Most bacteria reproduce by binary fission. Their genetic material is first duplicated and the nucleus then splits, each nucleus taking some of the cellular material with it. As under favorable conditions, each bacterium can divide every 15 to 30 minutes. Once again, under favorable conditions, each bacterium can divide every 15 to 30 minutes. I will repeat once again. Under favorable conditions, each bacterium can divide every 15 to 30 minutes. Within 12 hours, one bacteria can become a colony of 72 billion bacteria. I will repeat once again. Within 12 hours, one bacterium can become a colony of 72 billion bacteria. I will repeat one more time. Within 12 hours, one bacterium can become a colony of 72 billion bacteria, more than enough to cause serious illness. In instances when the bacterial count is high enough, a person may get sick within as little as 4 hours. Most pathogenic bacteria will be destroyed by heat or other unfavorable conditions. Some rod-shaped bacteria are capable of forming spores, however. Spores are thick-walled structures used as a protection against a hostile environment. The bacteria essentially hibernate within their spores, where the bacteria can survive extreme conditions, so heating or sanitizing the cooking environment may not destroy them. When conditions are favorable, the bacteria return to a viable state. Common soil frequently contains bacterial spores. This is one reason why it is essential to wash fruit and produce thoroughly before use. So once again,